Ready.
His mom?
All right. Thanks everyone for being here. We have a quorum, so we'll call this meeting to order at 6:01. First, we have no public comments. We'll move into previous minutes from the June 11th. You have a copy of those in your packet.
Make a motion, we approve the, meeting minutes from June 11th.
I will second that motion.
All right, Megan made a motion to accept the previous minutes from the June 11th board meeting. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Approval of previous expenditures.
If you look at, again, the sheet that starts with the thousands and then the 2000s, the one we look at every month, you'll see pretty much everything's been zeroed out except for which she has zeroed that out since then. She printed this a few weeks, or about 2 weeks ago. But we were a little over on our professional development than what we get allotted for by $2,900. So that's the negative there, which that's been accrued out to be a zero. So we moved operating money to cover that. We're still waiting on, well, we have gotten the 6B now since she printed this out. So that's not a negative anymore. That'll be a zero.
We've gotten the what since she printed it?
The 6B, it's
Okay.
6702. We've gotten that money in now, so that's zeroed out. And then that's 6786. That's zeroed out as well. And everything else you see is 21st Century. She zeroed that out because we completed that grant.
I closed it out last week.
Yeah, and we will not be doing that again next year, and probably won't be doing that for a couple of years because it's just hard to get people to work it. So, but all these
And which one is that you talking about?
6441 is federal money, and
Okay.
all the ones that are in these sixes here are all zeroed out
Okay.
because we've gotten these in since she printed these off. So, and then you look down there and you can see, which I'll talk about here briefly, and again about our child nutrition, but they finished $27,795 to the positive without having to transfer any money over.
Good.
Anybody got any other questions regarding the previous expenditures as presented?
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All right, Adam made a motion to accept the previous expenditures. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 6-0. We'll move into administrative reports with the district report.
All right. First thing, I just want to commend Mr. Hoover. Jason, Mr. Charles has been out. He's been under the weather, spent some time in the hospital, so I think he is on the mend. I talked to him today, so he's doing well. I think he was ready to come back to work next week, and I said, you might want to talk to your boss and see if you're going to be able to do that. And I guess he thought I was talking about myself. And I said, no, I think it's the person that you're driving there, Miss Bobby, and I could hear her cackling in the back. But I think he's doing finally better. But we were a little worried about him there for a minute. But Jason, and I'm going to ask you to retroactively approve something that's later this evening about a person that we've had working with him since Mr. Charles has been out. But they have put all of our new lights up in the gym. Except for two, because our lift is not quite high enough to get to the very top. So the gym's got all new lighting, and it's a huge difference between what it was to what it is now. And again, I've got to, thank Jason for that too, because he brought the original price to me, and it was like $29,000, and we ended up paying I think $5,200 for it. And he put it all in place, so it was a pretty good deal, and we needed it. But so I just want to commend him for all that work he's done. But this is the end of June. Next month I'll give you end of year stuff, but this is just for the end of June, so it's going to be really close. So we spent in 2025 in the end of June of 2025, $9,600,962. This year, at the end of June, we spent $9,680,684, which is 79,722. But the big thing that I told Consuelo when we were looking at this, getting mad because we spent more, is that's counting the $360-something we spent on new HVAC in the gym. So if you take away that, we're about $276,000 less spent this year than what we were last year, which is, to me, saying a lot considering that we cut $1 million last year. So, period, we spent $5,161 more this June than we did last June. And then going down to this is all revenue. We revenued, not counting the loan that we got for the HVAC, we revenued $483,563 more this year than what we did last year, year to date, so the entire year. We revenued $142,534 more than what we did last June. This June, again, that extra growth that we had last year is a big boost in the arm for that as well. Operating fund at the end of June last year, we were at $978,792. At the end of June this year, we're at $1,241,06. So that is a positive $262,214 growth in our operating fund. So that's another good sign of that we're going in the right direction. This is just the total balance. Overall total balance in 25 at the end of June was $2,818,162, and that's counting our building fund and CDs that we had. This year at the end of June, we're setting at $3,184,340, so we're up $366,178. Again, a good sign that we're moving in the right direction. So total with the CDs, our operating at the end of June last year was 1.257,168, so 1,257,168 this year at the end of June. And again, I'm saying end of June, but this is going to be pretty close to our current numbers. We're at the end of June this year. We're at 1,623,346. So again, 366,178 more. And another one, again, that I want to brag on is our child nutrition, because this is huge. I'm not even going to go through about expenditures to date. Last year we spent $512,273. This year we cut that by $45,187 to down to $467,86. We revenued this year $488,669. Last year we revenued $455,190, so that's up $33,479. And here's where the work that Miss Sager did and all of our child nutrition ladies, Miss Consuela did with Carrie, and just different things that we did. We ended up with a total of $27,795 this school year. Last year we had to move $58,320 to take it out of the negative. So in reality, when you make those numbers match, we're up $86,115. So again, I'm extremally proud of Miss Sager and the work that her and her ladies do, along with Miss Consuela doing that work that they did. So, y'all have any questions?
If no one has any other questions or comments, we'll move into the building reports with Ms. Swears with the elementary report.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to say I'm glad to be back. I don't think you guys are going to make fun of my country accent like they did in Oklahoma. So, academic reports, digging into the end of the year atlas, I think it's important that we see where kids end the year so that we know kind of who might be at risk in areas to start the year, and also to help us drive instruction of how we want to start the year. So I'm kind of digging into those. I haven't been on the job very long, but I'm working at it. Curriculum-wise, we made a few changes. I chose not to go with Lexia this year. We had it for 15 years in the district I just came from, and did a real deep study that showed it did not show growth, even using it you know, every day the way it was supposed to. So my thought is that $17,000 that we don't need to spend. I also am of the belief that the teacher and the table's the best way to go, not always a program. If we had a program that was going to teach everyone to read, we would not need teachers. So we made a few changes there. I'm going to continue some curriculum with UFly up the higher grades because we're going to use it in the lower, and it makes sense to keep a consistency in moving on with interventions using the same program as they get older because they'll be familiar with pieces of that. So trying to dig in, finding the curriculum, what we need to order, what we're lacking in maybe the science kits and things like that. So that's kind of where we're going with curriculum.
Anybody got any other questions?
What was your
Comments?
general feeling once you kind of did an overview of the elementary? Were you surprised at anything or?
In curriculum wise or just?
Curriculum and just kind of the state that was left in,
I
guess.
think the key to curriculum is making sure it's being used. You know, you can show me different ways you want to use it, but I think that's a piece, and we need to make sure we have it in all the areas. I think sometimes curriculum can get thrown in a closet because one teacher didn't use it. The next teacher coming in may be a brand new teacher, and they need that guide. And I'm not saying there's not teachers out there. I mean, I was one of those teachers, give me a document camera and a standard, and I got you. But not everyone's that way. So we need to give support where it is, and I think I think the curriculum is fine. I think the Eureka and the Wit and Wisdom, I think we're okay with. I think there may be some pieces moving forward that we need to look at a little more support in the teaching parts of the curriculum, but you'll see that in any curriculum. There's not going to be any curriculum that's going to have everything and that everyone's going to love. You know, the upper grade teachers will love it and the lower grade teachers will hate it. I mean, 33 years of this I'm going into, it's been that way all the way back. And then as far as the building, I'm going to be honest, I mean, that was the building I went to elementary school in.
I was wondering if you remember which room.
Miss Key's room was first grade. Yeah. I can go back to it, but you know, love the teachers. They've been very accepting, helpful. Any questions I've had, anybody in the district, I mean, I find somebody and they'll help me because there have been some definite differences from Oklahoma to Arkansas, especially in the ways you could spend money and the different ways, some of the different laws. So I want to make sure I'm that rule follower. You know, we're going to do what we're supposed to do, you know, but that's been kind of getting used to things.
We're excited you're here.
Yes.
I am.
Glad you're back.
Thank you, Ms. Swears. We'll move to high school report now with Ms. Akis.
All right, so I've got a few dates that I want to talk to you about just in general, and then I've got some news, and then I got some good news. New teacher orientation for my high school is July 29th at 9 o'clock. So I don't have very many new people. I think maybe 5. So we'll just kind of, you know, look at some very fundamental things that my other teachers already know about. That way I don't have to spend time at our back to school PD on that. We're also having a CPR training on July, that same day at 1 o'clock. Back to school PD, I mean, it's here, guys. We're in it. Our back to school PD is August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that would be the first week of August, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then open house the next Monday. And then our first day back to school on the 12th. So it's creeping up super fast. And then Bison Booster Bash, that's Friday, August 14th. I'm excited about that. Okay, so my news is that we talked a lot about concurrent classes and moving from AP to concurrent just because of the way that, you know, the new grading scoring rubric is set up, and we're still doing that. But none of our teachers were approved to be concurrent instructors for the universities. So we've always had a plan B. I'm glad I had a plan B because we're going to have to use it. And that's just that our students are still going to be in class with our high school teachers, and they're going to be more facilitators. So you may have 2 kids in the same classroom that one of them is taking college algebra from ASUBB and the other one is taking college algebra from Phillips. You know, so that's just, we're just moving that direction. just so that we can maybe, we didn't get approved obviously, but maybe we can do something this year that would help us gain that status for next school year. So, not super excited about that, but it just is what it is, and we're just gonna rock on and move forward with that.
Is there any particular reason for that?
There was lots of reasons, different ones for each teacher.
I mean, so at least they gave you kind of what?
They did,
Okay.
yes, they did, yeah. A lot of it had to do with college algebra, or not college algebra, college courses. They had to have like master's courses in that subject
Yeah.
area, and a lot of my teachers have master's degrees, but not necessarily those courses like Coach Hughes, her master's is in administration, and so she didn't have any graduate courses in math. So anyway, that's that. My good news is, if you would look in the very back of your folders, on the very back page, we got our AP scores in this year. And I'm super proud of our AP scores this year for sure. So if you look there on the right-hand side of the page, up at the top in the graph, you've got English, Environmental Science, Pre-Cal, APUSH, and that WH is World History. And so you can see the scores for each individual student there. And so they were much better than last year. We had seven 3+s, and those were all different students. 7 different students with 3s on their AP tests, which is way better than what we've seen in the past. If you look at that graph up at the top, that just kind of shows you how many students that the percent of the total number of AP students with scores 3 and above. So if you look at that, starting in 2022, we were at 30%, and then 23 went down to 8, and 2024, 14, 2025, 17, and then 2026, 47%. So super proud of the teachers and their
great.
kids and everything. I mean, that's wonderful
good.
improvement.
I have a question on the number of exams. Why did it go from like 49, 56 to 60 and then 29? Does that have anything?
Well, I mean, that's just the number of exams that our kids took. So we didn't have as many kids take AP classes or
Right.
take the exam this year.
Okay.
So, if you look at that, like in 2025, the total number of AP students was 24. So we had 24 different kids in an AP course.
Okay.
And then 39 tests. So that just means that, you may have one student who took more than one
Okay,
AP
I
course
got
or
you.
AP test. And then the number of 3+s was 4 versus this year. So we had 15 kids in AP courses, 29 tests, and 7 of
Remember
those.
too, last year was the first year they started changing. They're going away from the AP to concurrent.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. That's good work from our teachers and our kids. Kudos to, my AP teachers are Coach Hughes and Miss Anderson and Miss Green this year, and then Miss McCalman. So excited for them. That's a big shout out. And that's all I have.
Do you get the concurrent grades?
Will we?
Yeah, do you get,
The university will give the concurrent grade, and then we will take that grade and put it into eSchool for the.
but I didn't know, do you get to see those grades?
Oh, well, like, are you talking about this specific test or?
Just what they made,
Yeah, we. Mhm, yeah,
Overall
yes,
grade.
Yeah. Mhm. Yes, we will.
those grades, are they okay, pretty good?
I haven't looked at them, but nobody failed this year. I do know that. We made sure of that.
So the AP numbers were down, were the concurrent up this last year?
I really don't know. I know that this year, we had one kid graduate this year with an associate's degree, and so he was taking lots of concurrent classes. We will have a lot more concurrent classes next year than we did this year. I can get those numbers for you later, though, Brandon.
Did the number of students in the concurrent go up, like where they maybe went down in AP?
I would imagine that's what's happened, but I don't know
Yeah.
that for sure.
So instead of going to one class to do concurrent, like they've done in the past, they'll be actually in a classroom with a teacher?
Those who are taking those classes, yes. Now, there will be some other concurrent classes that kids can take that are, that are not college algebra or biology or whatever. And those kids will be with Miss Sarah in the virtual classroom. But then, also on top of that, we also have Virtual Arkansas, who gives us, it's not concurrent credit, it's just high school classes, virtual classes that, like if a kid's taking Spanish or, sign language or our computer science class is online. And so, and just to say this too, so Miss Lore is going to be reaching out to all of the families who have signed up for their children to take the concurrent class, because when we were trying to schedule, all of our concurrent classes for this year, we told them that they'd have a teacher and things. So she's reaching out. She's going to start. She came back to work today, but she's going to start tomorrow, calling families and just kind of explaining what happened, so that families can make the decision. Yes, I want to still go with Phillips, or I'd rather move over to ASUBB, because we want the kid to be able to decide which university they go through. That's a student choice that I believe that is about kids, not about us.
Thank you, Ms. Megan.
Uh-huh.
At this time, the board will move into executive session, discuss personnel at 6:22.
Who is?
My mom, Neighborhood Watch 90. Well, I get a call. She'd be like, something's wrong. And I'm like, it's fine. Just mind your business.
Mind your own business.
Yeah.
All right, we will return from executive session at 7:16. Moving to personnel and certified resignations.
The first one, sadly, I'm going to have to recommend that you approve the resignation retirement of Miss Sheila Lee, effective immediately. She's had to make some tough decisions. We're going to miss her. She's had a great career with us and in education.
So moved.
I will second.
All right, Brandon made a motion to accept the resignation retirement of Ms. Sheila Lee as elementary teacher effective immediately. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries 6-0.
And we'll have her in next month to recognize her for her retirement. The next one, again, I'm going to have to recommend you approve the resignation of Ms. Meredith Elder as a district speech pathologist effective immediately. She's been a huge asset to our district, and we're very, very fortunate to have somebody like her that was willing to step into a district role, especially our size, so we're going to truly miss her.
Make a motion. We accept the resignation of Miss Elder.
Second.
All right, Megan made a motion to accept the resignation of Ms. Meredith Elder as district speech pathologist effective immediately. Ms. Mandy seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Classified resignations.
I'm going to recommend you approve the resignation of Mr. Woody Evans as a full-time bus driver effective immediately. From talking to him, the county has offered him a lot more money, and he's going to go, I believe, grade roads again. So I hate to see him go because he was a very good driver for us.
I'll second. All right, Adam made a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Woody Evans as full-time bus driver effective immediately. I seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The next, I'm going to recommend you approve the resignation of Ms. Felicia Jarrett as our high school paraprofessional effective immediately. They have moved over to, I believe, Bryant, and I'm excited for her because I know she got hired, I think, last week at Bryant. So she was a tremendous asset to our district, and she will be missed.
I make the motion.
Second.
I made a motion to accept the resignation of Ms. Felicia Jarrett as high school paraprofessional effective immediately. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The next classified resignation, I'm going to recommend you approve the resignation of Ms. Pooja Patel as an elementary paraprofessional effective immediately. She stepped into a position when we had needed help last year, and she filled that role really well. And our understanding, she has decided to move back to California.
Motion.
Second.
All right, Megan made a motion to accept the resignation of Ms. Pooja Patel as elementary paraprofessional effective immediately. Mandy seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We'll move into classified hires.
All right, I'm going to recommend you approve an offer of acceptance to Ms. Brianne Sesser as high school paraprofessional effective for the 2026-2027 school year. She'll replace Ms. Jarrett. I think she's had a lot of experience in a somewhat of a school setting at the pre-K at Lone Oak, so I recommend that you make an offer of acceptance for her.
She was at the Methodist Church daycare.
Methodist Church,
Verification.
sorry.
Motion.
Second.
All right, Adam made a motion to accept approval of offered acceptance of Ms. Brianna Sesser as high school paraprofessional for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The next one is I'm going to recommend you approve an offer of acceptance to Ms. Kimberly Green Kelly as an elementary special education paraprofessional effective for the 2026-27 school year. She's going to come to us from Building Bridges, correct? And she's had some time in education as well.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Sherry made a motion to approve the offer and acceptance to Kimberly Green Kelly as elementary special education paraprofessional for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The next is the communications and branding coordinator. We're going to split this up into two and have one at the high school in athletics and then have one at the elementary So first, I'm gonna recommend that you approve moving Jason Golden as the high school and athletic communications and branding coordinator effective immediately.
I make the motion to approve.
I second.
All right, Ms. Sherry made a motion to approve Jason Golden as high school and athletic communications and branding coordinator for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Mandy seconded that motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations, Coach Golden.
The next, I recommend you approve moving Whitney Kelly as the elementary communications and branding coordinator effective immediately.
Motion.
Second.
All right, Megan made a motion to approve the Whitney Kelly as the elementary communications and branding coordinator for the 26-27 school year. Adam seconded that motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Transportation Director.
All right, this is one that we have a stipend that's $45.10. I'm going to ask that you approve myself as the person that'll be doing finding all the sub drivers, and all taking care of all the field trips and activity trips, making sure buses are there and ready. At a later time, I'm going to ask you to split that with myself and another person that will be the person that fills up the buses with gas and making sure they're all fuel.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We didn't go a second on
It's on the next
that. Oh,
page.
okay.
But I made a motion to approve the stipend of $4,510 transportation stipend between BJ Green and the person to be announced for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We'll move into new business action items.
All right, the first thing is just something that we have to do. This year there was no ASBA model policy changes, so I'm going to recommend you approve this policy, the classified 2026-27 classified personnel policy.
Make a motion, we approve the classified personnel salary as presented. Personnel policy, excuse me.
All right, Megan made a motion to approve the 26-27 classified personnel policy. Brandon seconded that motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The next is our 2026-27 elementary improvement plan, and I'm going to let Ms. Swears kind of go over that with you. And she's made some changes because I do want to make sure we had to get this done when Dr. Bratton was still here. So she's made a few changes, and she'll kind of go over that with you guys.
This is the improvement plan, right?
There we go.
Yes.
Yes, you have a copy of that in
Yeah.
your packet.
It's going to be a little different than what you see because, like I said, she's made a few changes.
I made some changes because I had a meeting this morning of something I was hoping to get started and got some good input from it, so went ahead and made those changes, so I'll explain them. The first priority is just to ensure that we have dedicated Tier 2 and Tier 3 time in our schedules, as well as increasing student data by 3%. When I looked at our schedule, we have some overlapping Tier 2 and Tier 3 time, which is, it's not legal. So we're going to try to fix that tomorrow with leadership. We are going to stay as long as it takes to get that schedule to where hopefully we have all the pieces in and we still have Tier 2 and Tier 3 time, which is, in addition to. So she had put that we are just going to kind of make sure that we've got that in the schedule, as well as kind of the RTI and what I call the PLC schedules of tracking data with CFAs to say, hey, what grade level skills did we cover in this 2-week session? Who got them? Who didn't? What are we going to do with the ones who didn't at the grade level, as well as the Tier 3 of those skills that may be a little further behind? So that was kind of tracking Atlas scores, tracking CFA, and I'm a big data nerd, so get ready. I love that piece, so, and what to do with it. So PLCs are a big thing for me. So hopefully within the year we can really get a handle on those pieces. The second priority, develop an enhanced recognition program to honor at least 2 teachers and 1 student per certified staff member on the last Friday of each month. Well, it was written before 1 teacher, 1 student. And my theory on culture is making sure that we let kids know when they're doing a good job. And so we're going to start a monthly program the last Friday of the month, first thing in the morning. Parents are invited for all the kids who have are getting an award, every certified member will be able to nominate someone. So we're probably going to work off of the character traits that we work with through the lessons with counseling and kind of build off of that. So that'll also help us with our other goals of increasing parent involvement by 50%. We're going to need something for them to come to be able to do that. As well as during that time, each grade level will get a focus. So we're going to start in September with kindergarten, and they're going to do a little program. All the kindergarten parents, as well as the ones getting awards, are going to be in the building. Now, we got to make this work size-wise, so we're going to have to play with that a little bit. But I'm really excited to be able to put some focus in on the teachers as well as the kids, and get a lot more kids honored and nominated besides just one.
Make it a big deal.
So if you come on up and want to visit sometime, come and visit with us. We don't know what we're going to call it yet. I want to kind of let the teachers decide on what we're going to. Ours was the Bulldog Beat is what we called ours. Years past, the different ones we do. So I'm excited about it.
Just so that'll take place of what we have been doing in our
Monthly,
meetings.
okay.
So it'll go to that. So we won't have that in our meetings anymore.
It'll be, I can always send you over who was nominated and who was honored and that kind of
That's
thing if
great.
you'd like those. So that way you can still have access to it. But I'm just excited because it allows the parents to go see their kids get honored, as well as the kids to feel like that they've,
And get the parents in the school.
and get the parents in the school. So I didn't have that hashed out, so I couldn't put it in there. So I've put that in there. Number 3, now I've lost my place here. To increase the numbers, no, that's 2, sorry. Expanded strength the presence of arts and music on campus by providing students with consistent, high-quality opportunities to engage in creative expression through visual arts, music instruction, and performance experiences. That's another piece of this. If we wanted to do some showcase with art and different things, we've kind of included this all in this one stop. And that way we can have people do, any of our extracurriculars can come in and do a showcase just like the music teacher. I just needed the music teacher on board because that's the person that's going to kind of oversee it. And she was great with it.
So will this be during school or?
It will be first thing in the morning. It'll take about 40 minutes, and I am a big, big advocate for control of that instructional time. I mean, I do not like to let that go. I'm kind of a stickler. How long is that going to take us? How much is that going to take us out of class, But I feel like for the culture of the building, 1 student a month versus 25, I think that it's worth it.
Sounds great.
I agree, yeah.
And the last part is simply the dyslexia piece. We have to assess all of our kids and give them the screeners for dyslexia. And this just kind of goes through the steps of what we take when we find those kids and what do we do with them once we've identified them as maybe having the possibility. Now, we don't diagnose necessarily, or we didn't in Oklahoma. But it's just those steps of what we can do to help support those kids if they are identified in the screener. And that's all I have. So that's the few changes I made, and hopefully you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the elementary school improvement plan.
I will second the motion.
Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the 26-27 elementary improvement plan. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Swears.
The next is the 26-27 certified personnel policy. Again, it's just like the classified. There was nothing other than law changes put in. So I'm going to ask that you ask that you approve this policy as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, I made a motion to approve the 26-27 certified personnel policy. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 6-0. We'll move to the 26-27 elementary handbook.
Turn it back over to Ms. Swears.
Okay. didn't make too many changes. Some of the changes were in the laws where they just simply changed wording. So I made sure that ours matched. Some of the things that they had put into law had already been changed and ours matched, so we didn't have to do too much with it. The first thing I put in was kind of, and I used my leadership when we went through this as what are concerns, you know, what do we need to work on? And so these are some of the things that they came back with. And things that we needed to improve with. One is we had an arrival section. We didn't have anything about dismissal. And you know, people don't think anything until it's 5:45, 6:30, and there's still kids in the building. And what do you do? So we kind of put in some things into place of, you know, when you get to this point, you need to come in and sign in. There's your documentation, okay? And then what happens if it's an all the time thing? You know, where it's not something where we've been told, hey, this is going on. We're talking about a constant, everyday thing. So we kind of put some things into place where, you know, I know this in the past, if kids were left after 45 minutes, you know, they would take them over to the police department. And we are lucky to have a resource officer, so we'll kind of utilize that. And, you know, nobody wants to do something like that, but if we can't get in touch with parents, we don't know what's going on. And it's a repeated thing. We'd like to have a few things in the handbook, so that's why we added those in. The next section was out of page 14, and it talks about our districts having to appoint a military liaison, and the DESE needs to know who that is, and this was just some added-in requirements about that military person and the dates and things. We had some similar wording, but I made sure it matched what the law stated. Page 26, there are some cell phone exemptions that have come in since the new laws have come in, and one of those is like, you know, you have your phones if you have, for instance, a diabetic student with a 504, and they changed a little bit of the language with that. The two-factor authentication, like with the concurrent enrollment things, they needed to be able to have their phones for things like that. Special events was a big part of this. They wanted, the wording says that the kids can have the phones during special events that are listed as special events by the administration. But the parents and guardians have to be notified of what that is, what it looks like, how they can use those phones during that, those special events. So we had to change and make sure we had something in our policies that say we can have, the kids can have access to those with special events. Now what that looks like, I think that's some more discussion on what are we going to consider special events. But we had to get that in there to make sure that we're in compliance. Let's see. Student transfers. The way it was stated before, this is on page 53, is that any student transferring from a school accredited by the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to a school in this district shall be placed into the same grade the student would have been in had the student remained at the former school. That is no longer the policy. The new state requirement is any student transferring from a school accredited by the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to a school in this district shall be placed into the same grade in courses based on their actual academic record rather than solely based on what their previous school had the student placed. So that takes a little bit of research, I think, in knowing, you know, when we have these laws where they have to pass the third grade test and another school may have them in fourth grade, but then we get the records that they didn't pass the third grade test. So what this is saying is we need to go with the data from their courses and grades and not just what the other school said.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense? I mean,
Yes.
okay. And then there was another place in there that I used the same language because it was talking about transferring from accredited schools. One concern brought up from leadership was that sometimes there were some minor issues during lunch visitation and things. And so for me, when you have specific policies and procedures in place, that kind of helps when people know exactly what the expectation is. Then it kind of makes things where it's easier, and you know, you're not having to go and correct parents if they know what the expectations are. So we put in a few that the parent, guardian, grandparents, we have grandparents on there as well, can have lunch with their student during their designated lunchtime. So during that period of their lunchtime, they're not allowed to interact with other students. So you are with your child, we can't go over and talk from child to child. I could see, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with someone coming in talking to my child that I didn't know. So that was one of the things that we put in there. Parents or guardians eating lunch with the students must leave at their student's designated lunch period unless they have another student coming up later that they're going to eat lunch with. Parents and guardians are not allowed to walk students back to class. We need them to be able to get back to class, and you know that instruction time, and back into the classroom into instruction. We cannot share food. So I can't have one parent to bring for their child and then there's their friend over here and bringing in foods, because we can't always track allergies with that. And so that was in there. It's just very specific wording now to try to keep the safety of everyone, but still allow the parents to come and eat with their kiddos.
Is there a designated place for, like, if a parent wants to come eat with their student?
Yes, we
Okay.
have tables in the back
Yeah.
where they can come and eat with their kiddos, or
Okay.
and grandparents as well. It's just hard when maybe you have a parent that wants to take second grade brother and fourth grade, and their lunch times are different, and there's just a few pieces we tried to put in,
Yeah.
especially with giving food to other students that, you know, I'm all about the safety piece, so. Water bottles, the only thing that I put in there is teachers may reserve the right to have a specific location in class designated for water bottles. And I know that sounds silly, but my biggest blow up in my school was because the parent wanted it right there. The only problem is they had iPads and things in the middle of their desk, and then the water bottles turned over on the iPads, and so there's a times where teachers can designate where they want their kids to put the water bottles. I think, sorry. I moved the one section where there's a weapons section in the handbook, and this piece where it says if a student discovers prior to any questioning or search by school personnel that she has accidentally brought a weapon, I moved that over to the weapons part instead of the expulsion, because I felt like it fit better with the weapons. And then there was a problem where it said the heat index on weather above 125 degrees. I thought, oh, that's hot. So I figured it was a typo. So we went in there, and it's 96 degrees heat index above 96 and wind chill below 32. So I just fixed the typo on the 125 degrees. I don't want any kids out there at 125 degrees.
I don't think any of your teachers want to be out there either.
Do I have any questions about?
Or go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
On the lunch and stuff, and is, I guess, extended family members, because, I mean, you might have aunts, uncles, sort of thing. Is there, I mean, I don't want it to get, like, completely out of hand into extended family, but everybody's family dynamics are different, and who students are close with and who is important to them is, I don't know if there could
And
be
I don't
like
think
a,
I
like
would
a,
block that off. Do you know what I'm saying? I just want it to be with their child. So
Right,
if aunt
right.
is raising that child and aunt goes up to have lunch, we're not gonna. And I know I put in their guardians too, because to me that fits. Every family looks different,
right,
Yeah.
and it's not about the who as much as it's who they're connected to.
right. Okay.
Will we get a hard copy of this?
Yeah, y'all get both of them.
I make a motion we approve the elementary handbook as presented.
I second the motion.
All right, Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the 26-27 elementary handbook. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries to 6-0. Thank you again, Ms. Spears. All right, we'll move into the 26-27 salary schedule.
I'm gonna ask that you approve the salary schedules, for the 26-27 school year. I'm gonna ask that you do this retroactively back to, since the new school year started July 1 for the fiscal year, so July 1 of 2026.
Motion.
Second.
All right, Adam made a motion to approve the salary schedules retroactive to July 1, 2026 for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries 6-0.
All right, we get to a couple of the fun ones here. This one first, and Coach Golden's here. He could kind of go through this and help us a little bit if anybody wants to talk about it. But this Luxido is a light program that I'm going to ask that you guys approve for Bison Arena. It's going to be paid for from the Booster Club, athletics, and the school district. It'll be $5,000 each year for 6-year period. Total of $72,500. So we have sent you guys a couple of the videos of the program that, and again, it's this stuff that I've sent you guys is not even touch what this thing can do. But Coach Golden, I know, is going to have some opportunities to create some advertising for our district and our athletic programs. And one good thing is this company's with Arkansas Tips Tap, so we do not have to do any bidding process. So, Coach Golden, you want to add anything about the Luxido program?
No, if you've seen the videos of what this thing is capable of doing, it is state of the art. And some of the academic side of it that I'm not sure if you've had a chance to see, but some things that the elementary can do with this, it's almost out of this world. Some of the things that they'll have an opportunity to come over and do.
Does any,
Who'll be in charge of programming and running?
Me.
Looking at him over there.
Well, somebody's gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
accept.
neat.
all right, anybody have any other questions regarding that?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the Luxido program for the Bison Arena at a cost of $72,500. Ms. Mandy seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank y'all.
I'm excited.
All right.
Huge thank you to our booster club.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
The next is the indoor use facility agreement. I got Coach Golden here too. I think this is something that's been needed for several years, and Coach Golden and I talked, and he came up with an idea, and he's kind of got that in concrete. And I want to let him kind of give you the highs and lows of it, but I think it's going to be really good for our district, and it's also another way just to make sure we know who's using the facilities and who's not using the facilities. So, Coach Golden.
Yeah, and so this policy is, it's kind of a twofold thing. I had maybe 3 weeks after I was here, I had a parent reach out to us from a district north of us, considering moving his son here. He's a football track kid, and wanted to come down and look at our facilities. And I said, sure. He comes down, he visits the indoor football field, the track, the football weight room, all of that. And about 3 days later, he called me back and he said, I think we're going to stay here. And I said, okay, I understand. I said, I just want to know, what's the reason? And he said, Coach, I'll be honest with you. You have great football and track coaches there. You have great tradition. We have a good football coaches. We have good track coaches. But our facilities are much better than yours. And I don't want my son to run on that track, or I think that we have a better opportunity here. And I thought, okay, I understand. And it started making me really focus and pay attention on all of our facilities. And the indoor for us is utilized by everybody here and the community. But there's also a cost at maintaining that. The turf has a 10-year lifespan, and we're about halfway through, a little over halfway through that lifespan. the nets, the cages, the frame, all of those things, what dictates the lifespan of those is use and abuse and care. And so I've got to preserve and prolong the usage of those and all of everything that's inside of there the best way I can. And so one way that'll help me is keep up with who's in there. There's a light that's damaged in the indoor right now that nobody knows who did it. Well, if I have an agreement and if it's somebody outside of the school, then I can hold them liable, because athletics is kind of unique in where my budget is predicated on how much money we bring in. There's no set aside money for us. And so that cost is on I'm responsible for it. And if someone from outside of this district is using our facilities and they damage something, I want to have a way that I can hold them liable and not set the price so high that people from outside of the district doesn't want to come here and use it, because I do think it's a great facility and it's an opportunity for us to show it off. But I have to keep that thing polished and I have to preserve it. And so I kind of set the price point as we're considerably lower than what anybody around here would charge. But there's also a way that local teams here, like our city youth team, if they want to come use it, by all means come use it. But if someone from outside the district wants to come in and use it, we also want to have some sort of buffer, some sort of agreement that if there's any kind of liability, it's on them and not put back on me to handle it.
Any questions?
So this is the agreement or the use agreement, whether you're in district, out of district. This is
Yes.
the avenue you go through.
Right.
It'll all go through Coach Golden.
It'll go through me, and it's adding work to me, but I'm not afraid of work. And so it adds a lot more to me to keep up with it and to track it, but it also gives me a comfort of knowing who's in there all the time. And so there's,
And also, kind of like he mentioned too, if it's our city league teams that are all Carlisle kids, they'll have to fill out the form, but there'll be no pay for it.
Yeah.
There'll be no fee.
Did we have any liability protection prior to this agreement with anybody using that facility?
No, we've never had any kind of anything. We've never had anything like this before.
So this money will go into one of the funds, I guess.
it would go into athletics. I
We have
assume.
we have athletics, and then we have the other account that we
Right.
talked about. It's
That-
so it's athletic miscellaneous, but it would be earmarked for athletics.
That way we kind of track
Yeah.
and see, hey,
Yeah.
we're getting
Yeah.
this
Like, there's an
money can
account-
be spent back. to-
Right, there's an account for the indoor, and my hope would be that it would go back into that account,
Right,
and that anything the indoor makes
yes.
will be spent on.
Then we can spend it back for
Right.
repairs and.
It's your O&M fund for the indoor.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the indoor use facility agreement effective immediately. Brandon seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Coach Golden. We'll move into
One question about
high school title.
There's been a stripe in the past of the athletic department coaches using it personally versus teachers versus the community, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a kind of your personal policy? Like, there's been some jealousy out there in the past.
I don't know you'd have to explain what you mean by jealousy.
Well, coaches using it like for personal stuff, family stuff. But then we have a teacher over there, it's like, well, why do they get to use that for a birthday party? But I can't.
Oh, I can answer part of that. Anybody that's asked inside of our district, I can tell you, anybody that's asked that's been in our district that is asked to use it has always been given a yes.
Yeah.
So,
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
and there has been several people in our district that have used it for birthday parties, but yeah, anytime that anybody in district is asked, we've made sure they were able to use it.
That's just me.
All right, we'll move into the high school Title I handbook.
This is both of these high school and elementary are kind of new, but These handbooks are building Title I handbooks, is a guide that explains how school Title I programs operates and what rights, services, and opportunities are available to students, families, and staff. Ms. Stivers, have I got that pretty clear?
Pretty clear. Really, the only difference is so we are a Title I district, but each building has to have their own plan as to how they're going to carry out the family and community engagement, plus the supplemental academic assistance and how those kids will be identified. High school has a virtual lab facilitator. Elementary, we have more instructional paraprofessionals, and then both have family and community engagement coordinators. Because of the amount of money that we get in Title I, we do not have to set aside Title I money for family and community engagement. We're lucky enough that, what is his name? Green and Miss Coleman are nice enough to set aside money for each building for us to use for that. This is still a learning process for me, so I hope I can answer any questions that y'all have.
But correct, though, this is the first year that we're being required to do this.
Yes. For it to be board approved. We've
Yeah.
had a handbook, but in my eyes, it looks better to be board approved and more transparent for it to be board approved. That way more people understand how we use Title I funds.
So the first one will be, I'm going to ask that you approve the high school Title I handbook.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
All right, I made a motion to approve the high school Title I handbook effective for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Now we'll do elementary Title I handbook.
Yep. Again, recommend that you approve this handbook.
Motion.
I'll say. All right. Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the elementary Title I handbook effective for the 26-27 school year. I seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We'll move to 26-27 child find plan.
This is another new one. I'm going to recommend you approve this plan. This is the district's plan to make sure children who have disabilities or developmental delays are identified and evaluated as early as possible. Ms. Stivers, anything different?
Nothing different. It just outlines our plan for each section of that highly mobile, academically distressed, those kids that get moved from grade to grade but always seem to struggle. How we identify them, who's responsible for that piece. McKinney-Vento's a piece of this. Military families are a piece of this. It's just very encompassing. Even our before school-aged kids, we are responsible for them as well. And it's how the process for them to get to me so that I can get them to the co-op.
Making motion, we approve the 26-27 child find plan.
Second.
All right, Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the 26-27 child find plan effective for the 26-27 school year. Adam seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Ms.
carries.
Stivers, can I ask on the, both handbooks, is this like elementary and high school where those are recommended by committee?
So there is a Title I handbook committee for each building, and I gave them the template for the handbook. Sorry, I don't have my phone, so I'll speak louder. It's fine, I don't want it. I gave them the template, what it has to be in there, required by law. They came up with their, family and community engagement dates, their school improvement goals are part of that, all of that, and then, they actually put the handbook together.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to substitute pay increase.
I'm going to recommend you approve an increase in substitute teacher pay up to $100 for certified substitutes per day, and then up to $90 per day for non-certified substitutes. we're pretty low on getting subs in our district comparable to districts around us. So I'm going to ask that you help us out a little bit and raise those pay up a little bit.
I'm making the motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Sherry made a motion to approve the substitute teacher pay increase from 88 per day to 100 per day for certified substitutes and 90 per day for non-certified substitutes effective for the 26-27 school year. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. So we don't go, just so I'm clear, we don't go through like sub-teach no more?
We do, but
Oh,
that's,
still
we
do?
pay, that's what we're
Okay,
paying, yeah.
I got you.
The next is the 26-27 bus route salary schedule. For as long as I've known, that we've always paid by mileage here. Always paid by mileage, and that has kind of led to some discrepancies on pay. But to kind of help us get close again, comparable to the districts in our area, I'm going to ask that we do a 2-tier system, which will be a long tier and a short tier, or you could say long trip or short trip. So anything 80 miles or more would be $15,000, and anything below 79 or less would be $13,000. So that'll boost our pay up on both ends, low end and high end. So I'm going to ask that you approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, I made a motion to approve the 26-27 bus route salary schedule. Ms. Megan seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Substitute bus pay.
All right, the next is substitute bus pay. I'm going to recommend that you approve raising our sub bus pay from $30 per trip to $40 per trip. Simply put, it's already a struggle. I'm asking coaches to miss certain things to go drive, or some of our other staff members. And at $30 after taxes, they're seeing $15 to $18, and it's just hard for us to say, hey, you're going to miss this or that to go do this. So I'm going to ask that you raise that up to $40.
Motion. Second.
Adam made a motion to approve the 26-27 substitute bus pay. Brandon seconded that motion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Y'all don't fall asleep on me now. We got some more to do.
About there.
Pre-K meals.
I'm going to recommend you approve for the 26-27 school in charging $1.50 for all meals for our students in our district pre-K class, which is the paid classes, will be our 2 classes. The ABC programs will still not paying the district, or that's paid for. This is half the price of a normal meal, but with us opening up another class, it will help us kind of fill in some of the void on that extra money that we're going to have to bring there. Again, it'll be something that each teacher turns in each morning to let the parent or the staff know who's going to be eating.
So moved.
I'll second. All right, Brandon made a motion to approve $1.50 charge for our district pre-K students' lunches. I seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Purchase service hourly rate.
I'm going to ask that you approve this retroactively for paying a summer worker with Mr. Jason Hoover, since we're down to one with Mr. Charles being out with health issues. But this is retroactively approval again for paying hour rate of $15 until the end of the summer.
Motion.
Second the motion.
All right, Ms. Megan made a motion to approve the pay of $15 an hour to purchase service summer work. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
All right, inventory retirement. This is just something that we have to do on all of our fixed assets at the end of, or excuse me, every time we retire any fixed assets, we have to get board approval to retire those items. So this list was all in your board packet, but ask that you approve the retirement of the inventory listed.
Right, by retirement, do you mean like sell them?
It's
get rid
taking it out of
them?
commission.
Okay.
And some of it is not worth doing anything with, what we're going to get rid of. And there's some of those things like we did early, like a month ago or 2 months ago, I asked you about retiring a lamb walker. That got sold.
Okay.
But we have to keep up with anything that we sell. So if we do sell it,
Do we have to, I mean, in the hang on, let me get my thoughts together. Are we required to offer that in a public setting, public auction, public bid?
I'll have to, I do not know that, because I know they've had auctions here before, but I don't think we're required to put it out. I think it's just if we want to sell it, we can sell it, but I will find that out.
Or at least it's circulated to the public, that
Yeah.
it's public dollars paying for public property.
I see
it
what you're
should be
saying there,
offered
but I
to
mean,
the
so to be
public.
safe, I'll just say this, if we're selling anything, we'll put it
Okay.
out there.
I mean, I know we've had some type of sale where we've sold.
Yeah, we've had a couple of auctions.
Buses before.
I mean, and it could have an asset value that requires that too, but I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
That's a valid point.
I make a motion, we approve the inventory retirement.
Second. Megan made a motion to approve the retirement of all fixed assets inventory list as presented. I seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. High school literacy curriculum.
All right, we are with My Perspectives at the high school, and it is time for us to renew that contract with them. We're going to continue that. Ms. Alkus has been working with them. The total cost is $59,453.78. We're going to split that up into two payments. Pay one this August 1st, 2026, and then August 1st of 2027. So I'm just going to ask your approval. And what is it? 6 years, right? So we'll have it for, again, 6 more years without having it for all that. But again, I'm going to ask your approval to use My Perspectives curriculum as the high school literacy curriculum at the price of $59,453.78.
Motion.
I second the motion.
All right, Adam made a motion to approve the renewal of the My Perspective as a high school literacy curriculum at a cost of $59,453.89, paid in 2 installments of $29,726.89. Ms. Sherry seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
All right, this is my favorite one of the entire night. Board resolution for ending balance. You all know where we were at just 2 years ago, and everybody in our district, including everybody in this room, has done an outstanding job being very fiscally responsible in doing the things that we needed to do. Although they may not have always been the most popular thing, but they were things that we needed to do, and it's gotten us to the point where we're at now. So I'm going to ask you guys to approve a board resolution that states that we will move money over the amount of $900,000 at the end of each school year to a 3,000 account, which is our building fund. Now, we wouldn't put it necessarily in 3002, but we would put it into another fund. That way we can use that as the board approves. And again, those will be things that I think our teachers are going to be excited about in the future, about how we're going to use that money. But I'm truly excited about this because it was scary at first. And we have done a really good job in financial things at this district. Again, it wasn't always the most liked, but it was what we needed to do, and it's put us in a lot better situation in just 2 years. So I'm going to ask you guys to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, I made a motion to approve the board resolution to establish an ending balance of $900,000 and authorize a transfer any funds in excess of $900,000 to the end of the fiscal year in our 3,000 fund accounts as unrestricted funds. Ms. Mandy seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 6-0. We'll have a board-to-board transfer.
Last one. We have a young man in our district that's going to be moving from our district to Lone Oak. And I think our district, some of our teachers have came really attached to him, and I feel like it's what's best for him. And I've talked to the superintendent over there already, Coach Guthrie or Dr. Guthrie, and him and I have kind of worked out this, and I told him that I think it's beneficial for him and even our staff if we keep this young man. So I'm going to ask you guys to approve the board-to-board transfer from Lone Oak to Carlisle.
Okay.
Motion.
Oh, awesome.
Well, I thought you were saying he was going to.
You said-
No, they're moving to
I
Lone
say he
Oak.
moved into the Lone Oak
They
district,
moved into the
but
Lone Oak
still wants
district,
to come to
but they're still
Carlisle.
wanting us to come to
Oh,
Carlisle.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
I'll second. All right, Adam made a motion to approve the board-to-board transfer of a kindergarten student to Carlisle from Lone Oak. I seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. I'll need everyone's signature on this, please. And we have no non-action items.
I have one. Can we have a roster of the whole school next month and kind of settle down?
Once we
by
get it,
grade,
yeah.
Roles and all that.
Student roster
No,
staff?
Staff, who's assigned where and what's,
We can actually probably do that.
It comes in the
We can do that pretty quick, actually.
just put it in our packet for next month.
make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, Miss Megan made a motion that we adjourn, and I will second that motion at 8:07. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.